I'm Brian Kellerman, the Chief Quality and Safety Officer at Kellerman Consulting, and this is our video series on determining and analyzing key performance indicators in businesses. In this episode, we are going to continue to discuss key performance indicators, and we are going to focus on setting them in operations. While we presented a few examples of where key performance indicators could be set in sales and finance, for most manufacturing operations, KPIs should be established in the core manufacturing actions of the business. We want and need our employees, from senior management all the way to the frontline workers, to be able to identify our KPIs and to understand how they personally connect with those metrics. We strongly recommend establishing at least one manufacturing measurement that is treated as critical to the health of the business, as well as a safety and quality KPI for the product, and where possible between 2 and 5 metrics in addition to any administrative or financial metrics. So let's look at some common KPIs for operation within a quality management system and how we can track them. The most common key performance indicators in a quality management system are customer complaints, or negative customer feedback, as well as operational nonconformances. These are 2 examples of negative KPIs, and in that, we are tracking undesirable outcomes as a key measure of the business. As we've discussed in our other videos, when we track parameters like complaints and nonconformances, we can expect that we will never really get to 0, as anyone who has ever spent time in a factory will tell you. Instead, we need to establish a baseline for complaints and a baseline for nonconformances. For retail businesses that sell products directly to customers, we can expect complaints in the dozens or hundreds, and that's in a good 3-month period. Having 75 complaints in those 3 months may sound bad, but if we have over 10,000 units sold in that time, and we see 75 as the average over the course of years, we can say that 75 is good, since it means that we are maintaining quality, and only a small number of total sales are resulting in complaints. Conversely, where a business-to-business operation sells 45 truckloads in 3 months, and this goes to a few key customers, even 3 complaints may be unacceptable. It is always great to want to reduce those complaints, but settling key performance indicators is neither the time nor the area of quality management to focus on improvements to these measurements. Instead, we are looking for signs that the business is breaking down, and in this case, we need to set the metric at a realistic level. Whether it is 75 complaints for retail direct to consumers or 5 complaints over 3 months for a wholesale business with a small number of customers, we need to establish what is normal, and we need to track data to see sudden increases in complaints. The same is true for nonconformances. If operations has several nonconformances a week, that may look bad on paper, but where it corresponds to satisfied customers and healthy revenue, it may just be a sign of a complex and difficult manufacturing operation. And as a KPI, as long as we track it as staying consistent and correlating to healthy operations, it will serve as a good KPI. What gets measured gets managed and improved. Now that we've covered customer complaints and nonconformances, let's turn our attention to some broader examples of KPIs in operations, starting with an example from a food production operation, and specifically one with allergens. Please note here that any quality program would have the same considerations for non-food examples. For such a food company, the key performance indicator might be that 100% of labels have the proper allergen declaration. This seems simple enough and is easy to tabulate, since we can count the number of labeling errors as the metric. This is a positive KPI in that we are expecting a successful outcome 100% of the time. If we want to state it as avoiding a negative outcome, we can set the same KPI as 0 mislabels. The difference between the positive and negative versions of this KPI are purely aesthetic, and they would have no functional difference in review of the KPI. In either case, by setting 100% accuracy of allergens on the label as a KPI, this would mean that each instance of the allergen mislabel would be reviewed directly by senior management, and each instance would need a significant corrective and preventive action to prevent it from ever happening again. Where more than one occurrence is observed within a defined period of time, for example, per quarter, it would require a short shutdown of operations and a reconsideration of operations commensurate with a catastrophic event. In contrast, Nonconformances that do not have established KPIs and are not directly related to allergen labeling, such as scheduling issues, maintenance, cleaning, and sanitation, those would be handled by the affected departments, not by the larger company, and the resulting corrective and preventive actions would be managed according to normal procedures for addressing errors in operations. There are several reasons why a company might select 100% accuracy of allergens as a key performance indicator. One would be repeated nonconformances in labeling of allergens that can cause significant harm to customers and devastating brand harm. Another would be the presence of a critical retail customer that expects zero defects in labels. A third reason might be a mislabeling event that creates a financial hardship within the organization due to recall or reworking a significant amount of products. Whatever the core reason for setting the key indicator around 100% label accuracy for allergens, the actions set up by operations to achieve this outcome should be significant each day of production. The daily reporting of the success of this measurement should be prominently displayed to personnel on TV screens, posters, meeting announcements, and management review discussions. Training on KPIs should be regularly scheduled and possibly even frequent to keep them front of mind. And when a deviation occurs from mislabeling, such as a pallet of pre-printed labels having an error from the printer, this would be treated as a company-wide issue. Investigations into how allergens are determined for the products would be performed, as well as review of how label information was communicated, the printer's process, and how label checks were conducted. Now that we have introduced key performance indicators in administration and operations, we are ready to turn our attention to a discussion on collecting and interpreting the data we receive for KPIs, and how to properly review the data to ensure it's effective. In our next episode, we will start by looking at the placement of data collection technology or personnel. Thank you for watching. For more videos, please visit our website at www.kellermanconsulting.com or follow us on YouTube.